Now, India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval has met with the Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Now, according to Doval, the two had a pretty productive discussion on ways to diversify and also to deepen the bilateral relationship between the two nations. Now, Sri Lanka's president has also tweeted about this meeting, and he said that the meeting was a fruitful one. New Indian investments, infrastructure projects and bilateral relationship was a part of the discussion. The Doval represented India and held discussions with the Sri Lankan Defence Secretary Major General Kamal Gunaratne, and also Maldivian Defence Minister Maria Didi was present in the meeting. Now, besides the trilateral meeting, the NSA also held a range of bilateral engagements on the sidelines. India, Sri Lanka and Maldives have agreed to further strengthen the maritime cooperation in a high-level trilateral dialogue that's been held after a gap of almost about 6 years. The three countries took stock of the current maritime security environment in the region and also exchanged views on common security threats. The nations have agreed to improve intelligence sharing and include issues like terrorism, radicalization, extremism, drugs, arms and human trafficking. The Indian Ocean region witnesses almost about 80% of the global maritime oil trade that passes through its waters. Now, politically, it's also becoming an increasingly a pivotal zone for strategic competition. The meet comes at a time as the Indian Ocean has seen an increased presence of Chinese vessels. Now, to give us more insights in terms of what is actually happening here, we are joined in by WION Siddhant. He's joining us live on this broadcast. Good morning to you, Siddhant. Now, the crucial meeting between India's NSA Ajit Doval and also the Sri Lankan president has taken place. What is the latest that we get from here?
Well, Mohammed, the two-day visit of India's NSA to Sri Lanka is over. He had a number of bilaterals, including with the Sri Lankan president. Interestingly, this is the second in-person meeting of the Indian NSA with the president of Sri Lanka. The new president of Sri Lanka, in fact, he was elected last year. He had visited India. Then, of course, India had a number of high-level engagements. And the focus is how there can be a strengthening of relationship, not only with Sri Lanka, but also with the Maldives. In fact, the trilateral which took place yesterday was the fourth trilateral between the three countries, but came after a gap of 6 years. The last such trilateral happened in 2014. And it won't be wrong to say it looks like it will be the new Quad, the Quad of the Indian Ocean, of course, being a trilateral and joined by two countries as observers, Seychelles and Mauritius as well. The key outcome of the trilateral was expansion of the intelligence when it comes to the issues like terrorism, maritime security. Secondly, of course, it has now been decided that the deputy NSAs of all these three countries will be meeting 2 times a year. That is an important development to make sure that there is an operational level engagement between the three countries. Also, there will be more exercises, trilateral exercises between the three countries. The developments coming at a time of increased Chinese influence. We saw the joint statement coming out, and of course it won't be mentioning China by name, but the fact that the joint statement mentioned multiple times how there should be a common view on security in the Indian Ocean region is something that really points out to how increased Chinese influence in the Indian Ocean region is a matter of concern for New Delhi, for Mali and for Colombo. And we also know that how the Chinese vessels, whether it's the shipping vessels or research vessels, have increased their presence significantly in the Indian Ocean region. And when it comes to research vessels, they are taking all the data of the Indian Ocean region. That, of course, is a major security threat to all these countries.
Absolutely, indeed, Siddhant. And very quickly, at this point of time, do we know as to how Beijing is reacted to this meeting of India's NSA with the Sri Lankan president?
Well, as of now, there is no reaction, but we can expect a reaction next week, especially on Monday, when the foreign ministry briefing takes place in Beijing, a briefing that takes place on a daily basis. But by and large, when the last time a major development happened, when the Quad meeting happened, when India invited Australia for the Malabar exercises, we saw reaction from Beijing. And of course, Beijing won't be happy about this kind of engagement, especially India reaching out to its neighbor. We know that how China is trying to increase its influence in South Asia. And interestingly, another fact that the Chinese defense minister will be in Kathmandu today, a visit that New Delhi will be closely watching. So multiple geopolitical developments happening in the region, whether it's Sri Lanka, which is of course not only increasing its engagement with India, but also with other countries, or whether it's Maldives. In fact, we know that US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo had visited Maldives and announced that the Americans will soon open a mission there.
Absolutely. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Siddhant Sibil, for joining us and getting us all those updates.